It's Wednesday. I think it's SJU. Let's just get this out of the way, guys. And I feel because normally I'm the one who's like, guys, we need to get the intro done in 8 seconds and move on to the first story. People have already clicked off. Here's the thing. Our studio caught on fire on Monday. We were getting ready to go live. Our poor new freelance TriCaster op fired everything up, and then it all fired up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, can you recreate how you told me?
Yes. Okay. So first, I think I just made it sound like his fault. It was not. So you guys know how there's also been all of this like construction and all that. That has created just so much dust and debris.
Layers of dust on
everywhere. And the dust got on like an exposed. And also, it doesn't help that our TriCaster is from 1973. I think.
It's crazy that they were broadcasting HD back in the 70s. You could watch the whole Watergate scandal in 1080p.
Are we broadcasting HD, though?
Okay, can I just say, because everyone complains about this, I hear you, I get it. Our TriCaster, I think, is from like 2013, 2014. So whenever we go live, it's 720p. Hey, guess what, mofo? 720p still technically HD, so suck it. But
Screen junkies. Technically what you wanted.
Also, like, don't go to 1080p and make me have to wear makeup every day. I'm not, because y'all ain't got to wear makeup every day. It's just me.
Screen junkies. Don't make us work.
That's 360 more P's that you have to worry about.
That's
that's so many P's.
So the TriCaster caught on fire, and because of all this dirt, and I think it hit like an exposed wire, and he's like, I suppose I'm burned, so I'm checking lights and stuff because I just turned on all the lighting instruments. And we called them instruments when I was a theater major in college.
These are not instruments.
These are instruments.
These are not.
You put a gel on it, it's an instrument, boy. If it's not an instrument, then I'm not union.
What
I'm not
weird,
union.
like Full Metal Jacket theater training did you have? Put that gel on, boy.
This is my Stanislavski. This is my gun. So he's like, no. And I was like, plus, who knows what they're doing, outside. They've been power sanding and stuff. And oh, God, no. Something's actually burning. And then the fire inside the TriCaster is very weird to see. So I run over to get Billy. I don't want to just run into the office and be like, fire! That'd be bad.
That's bad.
So Billy's in like a meeting with our post team. And I was like, Billy, I need you. And you were like, well, I'm in a meeting. And I was like, I need you right now.
Yeah, it was very sitcom-y. He was like, Billy, I need you. I was like, 5 minutes. And he's like, Billy, I need you.
Yeah, I was like, I was doing the full.
He was doing like the Alfred Batman Forever. Yeah. No, the other call.
The other call.
Yeah.
And so he's like, what's going on? I was like, the TriCaster's on fire. And you were like, what else is new? What's going on? And I was like, the TriCaster's on fire.
Well, because every day at some point, it's like, well, the world's on fire. Mm-hmm. Like we say it a lot around here. So he's like, the TriCaster's on fire. I was like, did is Zach late or is it not booting up? He's like, no, it is on fire. And I think I sprinted over here. Yeah.
So that's where we're at. Studio's on fire. It's Wednesday. I think we did a show yesterday.
Possibly. So we are running on like a backup and it doesn't have all the bells and whistles that our normal machine does. Mm-hmm. I think we can go live, but I don't know what's going to happen.
In case we didn't, the Star Wars trailer
was great.
Was probably great.
I loved it.
It was probably really good.
Yeah.
And I was probably really happy that I watched football for it.
So
yeah, go football.
So we needed to throw an SJU together. Screen junkies. We're throwing it together.
It's because hopefully if we can get the machine fixed, if this is Wednesday morning, we are actually taking this morning to put everything back.
Yeah.
So all that said, let's jump into the show. We had Logan, our social media guy, tweet for fan questions. We're just going to go through them and...
no, these have not been vetted.
These have not been vetted.
Nope.
Yeah.
They're all about crimes I've committed. All right. So Art of Rhino asked, with biopic movies becoming more and more popular, what stand-up comedian, past or present, do you think should have a movie made about their life? His vote is for Rodney Dangerfield.
Richard Pryor.
Pryor?
Yeah.
have to be Pryor.
Has he not had one?
I think that it's one of those ones where they keep coming around to trying to do one, but I don't think they ever have. And if they have, it isn't something that a lot of people know about because I'm not aware of.
Yeah,
one.
who plays Pryor?
I don't know.
Figure it out right now. Fix it.
Wayans.
Wayne.
Marlon Wayans. Actually, that's not bad.
That's not horrible.
Yeah.
That's definitely his like Oscar run.
Yeah, that's not the worst thing I've ever come up with. Yeah, Marlon Wayans.
Yeah, I like it.
Both
I like
good,
it. I like it.
both funny. Yeah.
Have they made a Sam Kinison movie?
I want to say yes.
Was it a TV movie? It's probably a TV movie.
If it's TV movie, then I'm not counting that.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Because I feel like, and I could be wrong,
TV
but
is
in
a
one of my
form.
one of my weird, like you get on those Wikipedia like rabbit holes where you started off like looking up like the Brady Bunch and you end on
I call it spidering.
on like Civil War or something. I feel like I read some interesting stories like surrounding his death. Like he had like very interesting last words or something. But I feel like that would probably maybe you could do maybe like Jack Black or someone could do it.
You can have Marin can do consulting on that because they were really close.
Yeah, definitely.
That would be cool. Mine's a weird one. So I started out doing stand-up comedy in San Francisco. I was like the least important part of the class that was like Ali Wong and Chris Garcia and all those really amazing people, and it was really cool. Watching them just like grow and blow up and blah blah blah. But there's a guy in San Francisco, and he's kind of like the godfather of San Francisco comedy. His name is Tony Sparks, and he is the sweetest man. He is the first comic you meet when you move to San Francisco, and San Francisco is a hard stand-up comedy town. Like, it's
for real.
Legit, actually, really, really tough. Tony, it was just this sweet old man. He ran an open mic. The mic's not there. The venue's not even there anymore because San Francisco was, I think, purchased by WeTransfer.com. The city was, and now it's all ruined.
It's all WeWork.
But it's all WeWorks now. But there was a place called the Brainwash, and it was a coffee shop / laundromat, and they did an open mic there. And Tony ran the open mic. And it was great. It was if it was your first time at the Brainwash, he would, it'd be like, oh, it's Joe's first time at the Brainwash, so let's give him a lot of love. And he was just all about love and all about positivity.
Did he have that accent?
Yeah. Oh, he just one time he talked to me for 5 minutes about a cupcake that he had that he just loved, and it had these sprinkles and like just.
Is he Mr. Goodnight?
Maybe. It might have been a little.
Can I change my answer to Mr. Goodnight? By the way.
Sure.
An LA
Mr.
staple.
Goodnight, it's a very LA. He's just constantly doing a bit in a character.
I had to pay him for something. Could never find out what his real name was. Wouldn't tell me.
Nope.
And he never. I don't know if it's a character, but he never dropped it, even when it was just the two of us.
I've had known. Yeah. Nope.
pretty amazing.
My understanding is he never drops it, even while flirting.
Look up Mr. Goodnight, and he will flirt with you in character.
Your guy sounds like a distant relative.
I think there's a documentary being made about him right now, but I also think a biopic of him would just be cool.
Brody Stevens would be great, but who would play Brody?
Brody somehow.
Yeah.
Now I'm sad.
Yeah.
I hit pocket you. Devin Colson asks, hey Devin, what movies are in your top 5 of the year so far? I haven't seen there's a bunch of stuff I haven't seen yet. I haven't seen Hustlers yet. I
haven't seen Hustlers yet.
So I haven't seen a lot of things yet. That said, Booksmart probably right now, top 5. John Wick 3, top 5 for me. I mean, he had me just at the opening where they were just throwing axes at each other. That was great. Long Shot, Always Be My Maybe. Those are probably in there right now.
Mm-hmm. Excluding comic booky stuff, because that's all stuff that you guys
excluded from.
You excluded from top 5 list. You excluded.
You and Scorsese.
You excluded from Lasagna Night. Sorry, that's a Mike the Situation reference. So yeah, Booksmart was one that I really loved. I really loved Us, even though it's one of those ones where I'm like, am I dumb or is this movie too smart? Serenity, I know, we keep telling y'all to watch Serenity. I'm only recommending it because of how incredibly ridiculous it is. Don't look up spoilers. Just watch the movie.
Watch it.
Trust me on this. Little was a movie that I really liked. It tickled me pink. It's really just, funny, kind of classic-y comedy. And then, Always Be My Maybe. Loved
Yes, that was
Always Be My Maybe.
worth it for the Keanu appearance alone. Also, Randall Park should be a big star.
He's such a big star.
I would say my number one is still Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. 2 would be Knives Out. I'm
very excited to see that.
I'm looking forward to that coming out so I can talk about it with someone.
My perception of time is gone now because so many of my peers now are able to go do screeners and stuff like
a
that.
month before sometimes.
That I'm like, now I think Knives Out has been out for months and I just finished my window.
It's Thanksgiving.
Okay.
So you have a little bit of time.
movie.
But I don't know. I don't want to bring the room down. I just feel like either I haven't seen a lot of movies this year just because, guys, the more you work in entertainment, the less entertainment you consume. Or, everything I saw was just ugh.
It's not working for you.
Hobbs and Shaw was bad, and Men in Black broke my heart at how bad it was.
And like I said, I'm sorry because I know you're such a big MIB guy.
I really like Spider-Man Far From Home. That was really fun.
That was really fun.
I liked it. I'm with you. I really enjoyed Us. I don't know what I watched, but I was so thoroughly engrossed by it.
I watched Midsommar last night, and I was fine with the weirdness. I wish it had gotten scary. I was really hoping it would get scary and that the weirdness would it just didn't really happen. Yeah. Very weird.
I missed Toy Story 4. We actually got to the theater and ripped the tickets, but then my wife wasn't feeling well, so we walked out. So I still haven't seen that.
It is really good. I really did enjoy it. That would probably be on more of an expanded top 10 list or something. I really like Toy Story 4.
And then by default, I'm sure I'm just going to throw Star Wars on there at the end of the year.
I'm assuming we love the trailer that comes out tonight.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean the 3.5 the teaser to the teaser of the trailer was great.
It was amazing.
I haven't watched that.
Oh, it's a billion. They're not rebels now, but whatever they are, resistance, a billion resistance ships, the most ships you've ever seen.
Yeah. There were there's a new animal. It's a porg mixed with a tribble. It's a chorg.
A piggle.
Piggle. Yeah, just a bunch of great stuff in that trailer. It still smells like fire in here.
It's gonna smell like fire for a couple days. I'm sorry.
Again, the
when
studio
plastic melts.
If you're just now joining us, the studio caught on fire. Sebastian J. Hughes asks, "Are you hiring?" We're not. But let's talk about this because we get this question a lot.
Yes.
And I honestly think our sincere answer to this question is you got to figure out what your thing is going to be and you got to do it on your own. This is just me shooting from the hip. I haven't been in any weird Wall Street meetings where I see the Dow on internet media reactionary media going anywhere. But nothing lasts forever. Let's plays aren't going to last forever.
Nope.
Reviews aren't going to last forever. Trailer reactions aren't going to last forever. Honest trailers won't last forever. I mean, honest trailers will probably last forever. The robot will start writing it eventually and will retire. I really think, especially online, you've got to figure out even if you're doing reviews plus whatever it is that kind of makes you and makes them yours, you just got to.
Can I say something about reviews? Because I've said this a lot, and it comes off as me being very mean. But I'm not trying to be mean. I'm trying to be helpful when I say a lot of people who are just either getting into film or really studying film, they're like, I'm going to do a movie review. So I'm not saying that's bad, but my first question always why would I listen to you? And I don't mean that to be mean or to be demeaning. What I'm trying to say is a lot of the movie reviewers that we trust, they either went to film school or they have some film background. If you're just learning about film, if you want to get on YouTube, don't just be a reviewer because you don't have the experience, you don't have the tools. Instead, what I've seen some people do, and I really admire and like, is they're learning about film and they do videos about I just watched The Shining and here's 3 or 4 themes, video essays where it's they are learning about film and they are putting what they're learning on the screen instead of just so the script was lacking some things. It's well, what have you written? What have you done? What have you studied? Like, I just think instead of trying to be like, I want to do movie reviews, I'm not saying you can't, but I'm saying like, as you're learning, as you're building up what you're doing, like find other ways to really analyze film. It's not like somewhere along the lines, film became this like binary thing where it's like, it's good, it's bad. And we just stopped like analyzing. So my advice, like, especially if you want to become a critic or review movies, is don't just go out there and do like, I just saw Batman and it was bad and it had bad plots. Like, I just saw Batman. It didn't click with me. So let's go step by step with some of the story choices and figure out, like, have those thoughts that you're having on screen. And I guarantee you, I've seen it. I've seen some of our fans do this where they make video essays. Like, that is more advantageous, not just for your audience, but for you to learn about film. Like that would be my advice.
Yeah, for me, it's so obviously like everyone sees us on here, and this is probably like the first time you've ever encountered any of us or any of that stuff. Everyone that you see that's been on here has been writing or involved with or doing things for like a bunch of years that led us to doing this stuff. And so I hardcore co-sign what Joe said. If you want to get into this, start writing stuff, start putting up your own stuff. You've seen there's plenty of reviewers who it's just a person in front of a DVD case or in front of a toy case, and they're talking passionately about the subjects that they like, and people flock to them because they enjoy their personality or they enjoy their whatever. You don't need a studio. We're very happy that we have one. But well,
sorry, I just hit it. Sorry, no, you're fine.
But like,
move on.
You can go and do this on your own and start like cultivating your audience and all that stuff, or just again start writing, start doing whatever, because none of us were like born doing any of this stuff. We all come from different backgrounds, whether they're comedy or whether there's writing or whether it's wherever, whether you've studied something. So yeah, and just like be prepared for it to not be exactly how you want it to look at first, but and then be prepared to be like really look like I read the comments. They're not always kind, but like sometimes there are really solid criticisms in there, and part of getting better means that you have to have a sense of you have to be able to step outside of yourself and outside of your own pride and constantly be adjusting and working towards getting better. And so yeah, I guess that would be make your own stuff and make it really cool. And I would love to see it.
I absolutely
and unique and original. And it's always like, well, what's left to do? It's like, well, being you brings a lot of it. But like I said, like, I think for me, it's just like you will succeed when you put your spin on it. And I don't necessarily think that just being just another movie reviewer is it. I think there's so much more. Like, don't limit yourself to just like.
Or if you are getting into making movies, I hear this a lot too. And I don't mean this as criticism. I want it to be an inspirational reference.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Me and how inspiring my voice is. If you want to get into movies and making stuff, I think the worst thing that you can do is start a YouTube film review channel. Like, because then you're gonna, not just because like that's like a bad thing to do, but because now if you want to make that successful, that's now your focus.
Right.
That is now your focus. That's your day job. Or if it's not your day job, it's your second day job that you do at night while you do the thing that's paying the bills. Like, that's going to be your thing now, is because like this is a commitment. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yes.
Are you posting regularly? Are you consistent? Blah 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 blah. Is your stuff good? Are you putting enough time into it? All that kind of thing. So I think if you want to get into making movies, like, you got to El Mariachi this thing, man.
Yeah.
And just start making stuff.
You can make stuff on your phone now. You really
can make stuff on your phone. There are enough film festivals in this country, and they ain't all Slam Dance, and they ain't all Sundance. And they're not all you're not gonna screen at the Alamo Draft House or whatever day one. But like there are there are a ton of festivals and stuff that you can get your stuff seen at. Like that, that's what I think you should do.
Man, I wish maybe we can. I'll comment it later or see if I can give the link to Ryan. There is a group of kids in Africa who are just like making these short, 5 seconds, 10-second long movies using old cell phone equipment, using whatever they have around them because they love making movies so much. So it's possible for anyone to write these and make them.
Yeah, I would argue even don't come here. Like, don't come here. Don't come to New York. If you are in a flyover state, if you're in North Dakota, you have like the coolest set around you already. Because I'm in LA and I can't easily access some woods to go make my Cabin in the Woods movie. Like, I can't. And if I want to, they're all smart here now, and I got to pay somebody a few grand to go shoot in their little patch of woods. So if, if you're in Kentucky right now, if you're in Ohio, if you're in Tennessee, and you got some woods by you, you don't need to come here. You're set, man.
Yeah.
Like, get your phone, get your friends, and shoot your Cabin in the Woods movie for free.
And honestly, this is something that we talk about because of digital media and YouTube. What's great about it is that there aren't as many gatekeepers. There still are. But the downside is that when you get to the point where you have to start dealing with the gatekeepers in any industry, in this industry, if you're making movies, if you want to write for TV, the first thing they're going to ask you is, what have you already done? Because everyone can do something now. And so you have to, it's a weird thing, but you have to, Donald Glover had a sketch team and they were putting up stuff on, YouTube. And that is how he could prove to people, hey, I can write things, I can make things. You have to have something written. You have to prove that you can do the job before you get the job. And before it used to be, hey, you're a stand-up comic, I like your set. We will build a show around you and you just, you'll contribute, but we'll take care of it. No, they want to see that you can do this without them.
Right.
So that's part of why we're like, make stuff, because if you make stuff and you do eventually want to start working for bigger people, the first thing that they're going to ask you is, where's your stuff?
Yeah. And as you make more stuff, it'll inevitably get better because you'll keep learning. And that's kind of too, I also don't want, if you want to be a film reviewer, I'm not saying no more. I'm just saying the other kind of the negative or the thing that kind of bums me out, and it's just the way the industry is, because even us, our professionals, some of our colleagues, it's like they go see a movie, then they have to rush back and in 10 minutes give a review, and it's like, I would rather not see the first Joker review that pops up and watch one 2 days later where someone's like, I really analyzed this, I really thought about it. Here's my essay on this Joker movie, how it the cinema verite and how it the themes and how it plays with all that. I think that's a market that people are not necessarily using right now because they just want to be the first to get the reviews out.
Because the clicks and the SEO.
Right. So I'm like, oh man, it's waiting for these young minds that want to learn film to come in and take those video essay slots and do it.
Well, and it's also because there are so many people who are already ready and raring to go. You're probably not going to be first.
Right.
So if you can't beat the SEO game, then do the quality game where it's I actually took time to really dig into this, because I'm not going to be able to go run home, run to a studio, do something live so that everyone can see it. I'm not going to beat that game. And
I want to shout out to one of our watchers, Nolan Dean. I told him this years ago. I was like, hey man, I think you could actually, you have a really great mind for movies as you're learning. I think you could make some killer essays. And I'm not going to say that, take credit for him doing it. But he did, Joel, but he did take that path, and I watched his channel grow. He would get a couple hundred views, and there was a couple thousand, then it was 10,000, on these really well thought out themes and essays about characters and plot, instead of just here's my review of Shazam. It was how Shazam relates to, the American myth of blah blah blah. I'm like, yes,
those are amazing.
Those are really cool, because you're learning about
good video essay.
Right. You're learning about you did an amazing one on Black Panther. That honestly, I would much rather watch that, because I got more out of what Black Panther is as a film from that than I did from just a random review.
Yeah, Maggie Mae Fish does some really great ones.
A lot of people don't know this. I wrote that Black Panther essay.
Oh yes.
How dare you?
Clearly.
Because now everyone's gonna say that. Oh man, I knew they were friends, but I didn't know it was just
ghost writing. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think it's Lindsay Ellis. There's a lot of people who are doing some great video essays, and I love those. I'll just I'll sit there and watch those. I'll put those on while I'm cleaning the house or something because that's the kind of deep divey content that I crave.
Me too.
Maisie Smith Walters asks, in all honesty, what would you give the first Twilight film out of 10?
A big fat question mark. I remember
That's not a number, Billy.
I remember when Twilight came out, it was like this big thing and I didn't know what it was. And then it came out on Blu-ray. I was like, okay, I'll watch this because it's such a phenomenon. And I just remember I was like, this is weird. Like, I'm not even going to say it's bad. I'm just like, I don't understand what I'm like. The baseball and like everything is like not lit. And I'm just like, I can't even grade it.
Because if you light it, then they sparkle.
Sure. Like it's just a very bizarre first entry. It's I would say it's not like user friendly. I was like, huh? What is happening? Like they expected that I knew what a lot of this lore was.
As you should have, because those books are
sure. It's just not for
treasure.
Me.
And
I don't begrudge anybody that likes those movies because I clearly, Danielle knows, like way dumber movies. I don't understand Twilight, and I feel like the movie thought, because it wasn't made for me, that I would kind of know what some of it was already, and I just didn't.
I give it a 7.
I have 2 scales.
Okay.
I always have 2 scales.
Pentatonic. And a blues.
Yes. I always have the actual, film analysis nerd score.
Right.
And then I have the Danielle's so bad it's good score. So as far as an actual movie, I don't think it's the worst thing that's ever happened. I would probably give it about a 4 or a 5.
That's about what I would put
about
it.
there.
Yeah.
On the Danielle's so bad it's good, I could watch it a million times and have scale. Oh, baby, you're coming in at like a 7 or 8.
Ooh. Okay.
I have watched that movie so many times.
It's the only scale that matters.
Yeah, it's like it's not great. I was inspired to watch Twilight after someone told me about what happens in book 4, where a werewolf falls in love with a baby. And at that point, I was like, I definitely have to go and watch these movies. And then I went and read all of the books, waiting for that werewolf to fall in love with that baby. So
As you do.
Solid 7, 8.
The self-seriousness of those movies, at least, it's astounding.
And then just the not give a crapness of it is impressive. And when you said I think it really expected me to know what's up, it reminds me of what we didn't get a chance to talk to on Monday, which was Watchmen.
Yeah.
Which I absolutely adored and need to dust back up on my Watchmen. My wife who was saw the movie a little while back but remembers Blue Guy and stuff like that was I don't know what's going on. And I think Twilight did the same thing where it was you should have read these books 100 times by now.
Yeah.
But there's just simple little things in Twilight they've made such a big deal about how they can't go outside or else they sparkle and will be revealed. And then he just randomly goes to Destin, Florida with her.
Yep.
And he's just sitting in, and for that scene, the movie's just whatever. Just weird, and it just actively doesn't care.
Well, I love it. The Twilight series to me is like my wife's Fast and Furious franchise, where part of the charm of it is that they take it so seriously that that's why I kind of didn't like Hobbs and Shaw. It was missing the Vin Diesel-ness of but no, this actually is good, guys. It's is it? Twilight, I think, is no, this is deathly serious literature.
Yeah.
And you're oh, okay.
It's almost for me, I wish that they always have these, because you have to have a conflict, but they always have these otherworldly conflicts. Oh, other vampires are going to come, and it's going to be a battle of the vampires, or it's going to be a battle of this. I almost wish they would just not include those parts, because to me, those are the least interesting parts. For me, the interesting parts are, the CW-ness of it, the vampires and teenagers and
CGI babies.
For me, that's the most important. I don't care about the weird Latin judge vampires. I don't care about the hippie whatever vampires. I just want that old man vampire who looks like a teenage boy is falling in love with this 15-year-old. It's weird. It's gross. Show me.
Show me. Someone asked about Mike Flanagan, and I'm trying to find the question. There it is. William III asked, in honor of Dr. Sleep coming out, what are your favorite Mike Flanagan projects? I just watched Before I Wake, and it was amazing. Totally missold as a modern-day horror. It's more like a modern fable with creepy moments. So
I'm so sorry. I don't know.
Oh, so he did like Haunting of Hill House. He's doing the Shining 2, Dr. Sleep.
Nothing I would watch, so
okay.
I'll tap out on this one.
I just made you look dumb on the beach volleyball court.
It's all right, man.
Oh, sorry, bro.
It's all right, man. Horror. I think SJU fans know that for the most part, horror is not my jam. I'd stay far, far away.
I think Mike Flanagan has a lot of really amazing. Here's the thing. I love all of Haunting of Hill House until I think we get around to like his central thesis of what he wanted to do to the show in the very last episode. I think he's a fantastic horror guy. He knows how to scare the hell out of you. His pacing is just unbelievable. There are long sequence shots in Haunting of Hill House that will make you tear the scaredy blanket like in half. Like they will legitimately freak you out.
That is why I didn't finish it.
Penultimate. Did you see the funeral home episode?
Did not get that.
Oh god, so good. And then I think, and really, this is just turns into a matter of opinion. Then, where it's like I'm good with just a really good haunted house movie. And then I think he really wanted to push that further and sort of explore the idea of like what it means to truly be haunted and these family dynamics and stuff like that, and sort of. Took it in a very different direction that recontextualizes the series to me. A lot of people loved it, and that's all good. I love that show right up until the first episode, and I sort of set that up to say that I'm really curious to see what he does with Dr. Sleep, which is just much more straight up like here's creepy magical shit from The Shining. And here's straight up scary Stephen King horror. And so I don't know. I'm curious how he plays.
I do love The Shining. That's one of the few horror movies that I can like.
Well, there's no like jump scares. It's like
exactly.
It's creepy and it's more of an internal like like a claustrophobia style terror. Like it closes in on you. I'm not a fan of a jump scare.
So I don't know how Dr. Sleep is going to turn out. I might have to wait and have other people see it or just watch it at home. But I don't know. I like the show.
I think he's a good pick. I think based on the stuff he's made, he's a really, really good pick for
Always
this
tough
movie.
to do a sequel 30, 40 years after a classic.
Especially something that is so revered and so picked apart and so analyzed and so beloved. It's got to feel very intimidating.
Sometimes it works, like Blade Runner 2049.
Oh, yeah.
But those are usually the outliers. A lot of time, if you wait this long for a sequel, it's
Apparently
tough.
Zombieland 2, very good.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
And when I think Blade Runner and The Shining, I almost always immediately think Zombieland. I don't know if Three Ninjas would work at this point. Doing another one.
It.
I'd watch it too, them as grown adults.
3 grown-ass ninjas.
Yeah, I'd watch 3 grown-ass ninjas. But I think, with just the push-pull of the original Shining adaptation, where Stephen King very much intended it to be one thing, and then the movie was something completely
very different.
I think Flanagan is a good choice for sort of like threading the needle.
That's got to be interesting to go to Stephen King like, hey, just so you know, most people know the movie over the book.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to do a sequel to the movie instead of just your book.
Here's your money.
Sorry.
Take your money. We're going to close out on this one with the conversation that Billy has been begging to have. The Whirlwind asks, why do you think that we haven't heard any MCU hate from directors like Spielberg, Cameron, and Lucas? Billy specifically texted me and asked if we could talk
yesterday.
about this.
You're so kind.
I have he did the opposite.
Kind.
I have an opinion on this, but wanted to know what your thoughts are. I think we haven't heard from them for the same reason that we're not gonna do.
They're saying Lucas and
like, why haven't we heard from them?
Oh,
and I think it's because for the same reason that we're not going to cover the Scorsese and Coppola stuff on this show, because like, who cares? I apologize. I'm definitely not trying to dismiss the question, but I honestly think it's a matter of who cares. At this point, if people are trying to do gotchas at junkets and stuff like that, and you give an answer, it's kind of, to me, it's along the lines of, you know, sitting down and being like, would you ever want to do a Star Wars movie again, actor from Star Wars? And they're like, yeah, man, paychecks are cool.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. For me, I mean, it's also, you just have to look at, you know, diving into the question, you have to look at the kind of the directors who are really like, hey, like these movies, like they seem to be the only things that are out now. We need room for other movies. These are the people who are making them, traditionally have made and usually do make the kind of movies that are being crowded out by these other movies. All of the directors that were mentioned in the question, they're still making the big movies that take over, you know, everything for a weekend. And so you have to kind of put it in that too, you know, of that scale. Scorsese has no interest in making.
Yeah, Spielberg can't complain about blockbusters too much.
Exactly. So, you know, Scorsese's not going to make something like that, and he's not even going to do the Todd Phillips workaround for something like that. He's just not interested in doing it, and we're just not making that kind of mid-budget thing anymore. It's something we talk about all the time. A lot of that stuff is moving over to streaming, and so I could see if you're a director getting a little upset about that. But ultimately, you know, yeah, like different generations of people like different things. That's not what he's into. You know, he can't stop them, is I guess my thing. He can't say, I hate these, and everyone's like, well, we're never making another one. So ultimately, it doesn't really affect anything. You know, guys, nerds, we won. We won. Take the win. We won. Remember when we weren't winning?
Ultimately, it doesn't really matter what James Cameron thinks of Guardians 2.
I mean,
like, if you liked it.
I'm sorry. Nerds are so effing soft. You are the worst winners ever. Like I'm not
a soft boy.
I'm not gonna say like get off my lawn, but at the same time, like a lot of us grew up in an era where this stuff still wasn't cool yet. Right. And we just liked it in our bubble, and we found our people that liked it with us, and most of us didn't, and it didn't matter that the captain of the football team thought you were a loser because your email was spock86@startrekmail.com. You just lived your life. But guess what? Then the culture shift changed, and then it became super popular. And now it's become like this weird sense of entitlement. Like, well, now we've taken over and everybody must like it. Your interests are not your identity. I promise you. It's okay. Every generation hates the next generation of whatever. Yeah. The Beatles were too loud.
There's also a little bit of gotcha quotes in this too. Like he's trying to have a bit of a larger conversation about like there's a larger type of movie that's pushing out. And people are like, oh, you say you don't like Ant-Man and the Wasp? And it's like, nah.
But who, like, I guess my point is, like, does it matter? Does it change your memories of seeing these movies? No. Does it, who cares?
And I guess maybe that is, like, we come from a generation where, because there are generations behind us who have, you know, when X-Men, the first one came out like 20 years ago or whatever. So there are generations who are watching it now who are like, well, this is what it's always been. It's always been cool. Yeah, I remember liking that when it was not cool. Guess what? All three of us at this table really love professional wrestling. And it's not cool. And tons of people tell us it's not cool, it's fake. People in this office, we have to quarantine ourselves very often if we want to talk about wrestling in this office.
I'll also never...
It's okay.
Yeah, I also never disagree that when Scorsese's like, it's all theme parks and commercials. And I'm like, yeah, it absolutely is.
It's super fun. It's super fun.
I love Transformers the movie. I love it. The old animated one, I still love it. I'll still watch it and just be like, oh God, yeah, Rise Rodimus Prime. I've also known since a young age that the emotional parts of that movie that are emotional for me when all my characters die, they die so they can introduce a new toy line. Yeah. It is literally a commercial. Orson Welles called it when he made it. He was like, I spent the day voicing a planet. It was dreadful. Like, that's what he said. Like,
Didn't we used to love it when our parents would be like, ugh, this garbage.
Yes.
And you're like, yeah.
Cameron Rice tweeted something about, cool. Cameron Rice tweeted something like, you know, punk is dead now because now we're like, my parents don't like the thing I like. Like, come on, who cares? Like, your grandpa I promise you, if your grandpa watched like 10 minutes of Guardians of the Galaxy, he'd be like, "The hell is this?"
Right.
And we move
That's what I'm
on.
saying. Like,
who cares? I went to war for this.
The generation that thought Sinatra was the best thought the Beatles were too loud, and then the kids that grew up on the Beatles thought that like the hair metal of the '80s was disgusting, and then the hair metal kids were like, "Oh my God, what is this rap nonsense?" Like, it's always going to be. The last generation thinks the next thing is crap. It doesn't change how you feel about Scorsese's movies. It shouldn't change how you feel about Marvel movies. But my God, this homogenous, everybody has to acknowledge that the thing that I love is the best thing ever, and any dissenting opinions is going to be a hill I'm going to die on. If he thinks it's despicable garbage, cool. Like,
That's
it doesn't
awesome.
change anything. Just be like, sweet, I like despicable garbage because I'm hardcore. Like, that's what I feel like we used to do, and now it's just this hill that we have to die on. I
If
hate
the
it.
punkest thing we can do right now is rally behind Disney, then okay, you know, yeah. But I
Look
think,
what he did.
Yeah, I think.
Look what he did.
I think. You know.
Rally around
but
the
I think
mouse.
to get the to the question, I think people are staying out of. I guess who cares? Like who? No one needs to know. There are conversations that I see happen on the internet all the time that I'm just like, my voice is not necessary here.
I recently tweeted about that. Like, some days you see what the conversation on Twitter is, and you just go, I'm not engaging in that today.
I
engaging.
tried yesterday and it just blew up in my face. And so I texted Joe. I was like, if you're making this the headline for SJU, I'm not going to do the episode. But my final stance is it could be anybody. Obama could come out tomorrow and be like, I think less of anyone that likes Marvel movies. Be like, that's a bummer, but still glad I voted for you. Have a nice life, Barry. Like, it's not going to change. I'm not going to be like, well, I guess I'm just going to have to convince him he's wrong. Like, let it go. Let it go. Go enjoy what you love. Be proud that you're counterculture, I guess, to them. And I don't know, find a new hobby. What's the new thing? What's the
hot
next
new
thing? Yeah.
I don't know. Probably anime.
Paw Patrol.
No, D&D's already over.
Yeah, it's already
I realize a lot of things. I think D&D we're way too popular now. Yas Queen is over because a yogurt commercial used it on Hulu, and I was like, well, that's done. Anything else that's done?
I think I saw a boomer use Yeet, so Yeet might be over.
Yeet's over.
Oh, I missed that one.
Billy didn't even know what Yeet was. It's over.
Isn't that what
Fleek's
makes
been
bread
over.
rise?
Guys, our brains are getting a little weird because, again, there's probably still smoke in the studio.
We're
but
breathing in hot plastic.
That's our Weird Wednesday show. Someday we're not going to be in a studio that's held together by duct tape and fire. Maybe. I don't know. I just said that out loud. It's not a guarantee.
The punk rock thing for us to do is to just keep letting the studio burn.
Let it burn!
Let it burn, baby!
Burn, baby, burn! We'll see you tomorrow, maybe. I don't know. Or everything will be ashes.